here with the 2020 Trail Boss today. We're going to be popping open the hood, tearing out some stock pieces up in here, and replacing it with something much better. I'm so excited for today's video because we are partnering up with Cold Air Inductions today. Guys, we are replacing the stock intake for something much better. We're going to add a few horsepower to this truck today, in addition to some amazing sound.
Down to the river. Oh, bury me, carry me. Oh, far beneath. Oh, fire and water me. Going down deep.
But oh my goodness, is this massive. That is a massive filter. We have our air induction housing, a high quality material that's going to prevent any type of heat soak. And it also has our plexiglass view where you can actually take an eye and look at your filter and how dirty or clean it might be. That way you don't have to pull it completely apart to inspect your filter. When it comes to the filter element, a high flow filter from Cold Air Inductions, extremely massive. We have our PCV tube, we have our inlet tube with our mass airflow sensor location, and then lastly this adapter here that's going to adapt directly onto our throttle body, which is going to get rid of this ugly thing. Typically the first thing you do when you buy a car who doesn't already have one, you pull out the stock intake system and you replace it with a cold air intake system. Part of the reason they're so popular is one, they're easy to install, but two, they actually work. Science and dynamometers have actually proven that cold air intake systems actually add power and create efficiency. Now the amount of power and efficiency is going to vary a little bit by vehicle, and if you can actually tell from the driver's seat the difference, I don't know if that's actually true, but there's a sound difference, and typically that translates to feelings of, hey, I got more power. But regardless, it actually works. You add horsepower, you gain efficiencies, and the science behind that is super elementary. Now, cold air versus hot air. When you have hot air, you actually have less oxygen molecules per square cubic feet, call it, than you do with cold air. As air is cooled, the air becomes more dense. So when you get an intake charge into your cylinder, if that air is cold, just use cold as an example, you have more oxygen molecules within the cylinder. So when you have the combustion cycle, it's a more powerful combustion cycle. It's actually more efficient. Vice versa, if the intake charge is hot. If it's hot air in there, the molecules will be expanded and spread out, which actually means you have less oxygen molecules in the cylinder itself. And then when that combustion cycle happens, it's less powerful. Now, it's a very minute difference, but there is a difference, and it creates efficiencies, which means you actually get better fuel efficiencies with cold air than you do with hot air. So what happens with these cold air intake systems, it aids in the induction of cold air. It blocks out the hot environment from your engine bay from impacting the air temperature of your intake charge. From this piece to the box itself, this is going to shield and protect the temperature of the air going into the engine. This particular setup does use the stock box, so the amount of free-flowing air into the box really is not going to change. It's how easy that the engine can actually suck in the air from this massive filter from Cold Air Inductions.